We have a tweet here from 6Buzz TV. 50% of Canadians are $200 or less away from going broke, according to a new report. Half of Canadians are $200 or less away from insolvency. 50%. Holy shit. 50% of the people in Canada are a paycheck away from being bankrupt. Insolvent. I mean, that seems like a lot of people, but you either have to be really rich to live in Toronto or in a lot of debt, or I guess somewhere in the middle. But a lot of people are in that lot of debt. And on top of their mortgage, they've got lines of credits or credit card debts. Can you imagine being $200 away from insolvency? I can. I was there every 2 bloody weeks, man. It was a fucking nightmare. Every 2 weeks, I had to make this crazy payroll. I think our payroll was like $85,000 every 2 weeks.
Holy shit!
We had a big general contracting company, and it was a disaster. But okay, there's all kinds of stats in here and all kinds of nonsense, and it's probably a bunch of horseshit, and it's telling some story and how it's going to get worse with tariffs, and it's going to be scary, I'm sure. And that's kind of the whole point, is to scare the bejeebas out of us, right? But 50%, if that even... I mean, cut it in half if you don't believe it. 25% of all Canadians are going broke. And so how do they all stay afloat? Like, what happens if, I don't know, they cut your hours? Or what happens if you're sick and you can't work? Or what if you lose your job?
I am dead!
Can you imagine? You're fucking just hanging on, $200 away, and you lose your job, then what? This is a bad situation. Okay, they're saying 50%. That's fucking 20 million people. This can't be accurate at all. There can't be 20 million people $200 away from being broke. But then again, I was that guy for probably the better part of 5 years, okay? And at some points during that, I had a ton of money sitting in a safe. It wasn't mine, but there was a ton of money sitting in a safe. And I should have run, and I could have run. I'd probably be dead right now. But like, you think crazy things when you're $200 away from insolvency or bankruptcy all the time.
All right, you hayseeds, it's a stick up. Everybody freeze. Everybody down on the ground.
Well, which is it, young feller? You want I should freeze or get down on the ground? If I freeze, I can't rightly drop. And if I drop, I'm going to be in motion. You see?
Shut up!
Okay, then.
There's a difference between bankrupt and insolvent. I mean, these people that are $200 away, they're insolvent for sure, right? They're probably in more debt than they can handle, and that 200, like, they just should not be in the position they're in. They're way over leveraged, and they're basically. And so, like, one little thing, or like, I don't know, what happens if the car breaks?
Talk.
And you have to fix the car. What do you do? What are these people doing? And how is it possible that there's so many? But even if you chop their bullshit stat in half because you don't believe it, and it's 25%, that's 10 million people on the verge of bankruptcy. How does that play out? How does that play out when our prices going up in real estate? No. Does that sound like a guy who's going to decide to be an entrepreneur and start his own business? Like me, like a fucking crazy person. I lost all my money, okay, back in 2008 or 2009. I lost all my money. I had to sell my house. It was a disaster. And with no money at all, what did I do? I started a general contracting business, which is crazy. But I'm like not normal, right? I am not normal at all. And so, you know, if I'm in that 10, 20 million people that are on the verge of bankruptcy, I was lucky I made it out alive, and I had to fucking kick and scream and bleed and die and work my balls off for years to dig myself out of the hole and not go bankrupt. But I mean, there's days where I was like, I'm just going bankrupt. Fuck this shit. Who cares if I go bankrupt? And I mean, by now, that thing would be off my record and everything be hunky-dory. But I didn't do it. I didn't want to go bankrupt. My pride would not allow me to go bankrupt. I didn't go bankrupt. And I paid everybody back that I owed money to. I did not go bankrupt. And that was not easy. And I did not do it the right way. I did a horrible job of it. And it was a nightmare. Ridiculous report. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, find me a report that's not ridiculous these days. People, they grab like one little data point. They make an article about it. It's like 3 paragraphs. There's no substance. There's no meaning behind any of it. It's always a source that gave them their information. It's like really fucking crazy what counts as media or articles right now.
Called fake news.